taken on this topic of this SDG number 16, which deals with peace, justice, and strong institutions. Now, one would wonder, why do you have to be talking about peace, justice, and strong institutions in a forum like this? But last week, after I was invited to come, I listened to channels, and they were talking about SDG Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And it's supposed to be the most important of all the SDGs. Why? If we are looking at what is happening within our country now, we see that nothing works in the absence of a peaceful nation. And when I look at the SDG itself, we find out that the United Nations has already done has done the work for us. This has to do with ends, ways, and means. What are the ends? The goal. Now, what are we supposed to do? The ways, the strategies. And the document on the SDGs has given us all the information we require. You start wondering, do you really need all this information? Because we as a nation, we are supposed to be taking care of ourselves. So I look at the United Nations now telling us these are national interests. Because when you talk of peace, justice, and strong institutions, that is exactly how you can craft a national interest. And these are captured on the first page of the Nigerian Constitution. So what else? Now, the United Nations went further to now give us the targets and the indicators, rather the metrics for determining whether you are successful, level of compliance with the attainment of those goals. So, in essence, you find out that we are dealing with real national problems. But how does it apply? You find out that in the global arena, most of the people that are affected, most of the nations affected, or who would more interested in getting making use of the sustainable development goals and the various indicators and targets, are the developing and least developed nations. So we have a problem. The level of insecurity and the non-peaceful environment can now tell us that we have a big challenge. When you now look at those goals and the targets, you find out that yes, these are things happening. What are they? We are talking of violence, conflicts, bribery and corruption, sexual harassment for men and women, weak governance, justice system. So, it is a challenge to everybody. And when you talk of peace, the United Nations itself has already told us that what they look at peace is absence of war. And they don't recognize an interstate crisis or conflict as war. War is when a state is fighting another state, or a number of states are fighting. But in this case, we have an internal security problem. How do we solve that? Now, looking at the justice system itself, justice, or rather law, is a tool for achieving justice. But in most cases, they say law it actually generates injustice because of the way it's practiced. You know, in social sciences, everything is right because if you prove it right, then it's right. If you prove it wrong, it's wrong. Unlike in science and engineering, we are definite about what we want to achieve. The answers are not multiple, single answer and single solutions, and that is the strength of the engineering profession. We should be able to utilize the strength of the engineering profession. And that is why there is what is called sustainability engineering. Engineering in context, engineering with conscience, a finite engineering, looking at an indefinite future or unpredictable future. How safe are you as an individual? Are you safe walking around within your area? Are we? We are coming for a conference. You have body scanners, baggage scanners all over the place, security men from the police, civil defense, federal road safety, and all that present to guide us. That was not happening before. So which means that security is increasing. Anything happening in Nigeria is not just a national problem. It's a global problem. So we're going to look at conflict and violence landscape in the 21st century. That is what is happening to us. And these things were predicted even by some research done by the World Bank. We'll discuss that. Thereafter, I will now take you through the goal, the targets, and indicators for goal number 16. So there. But so the homework for everybody is how shall we attain those targets? Do we have relevant data? Do we have the manpower? Do we have the techniques? How do we apply new technologies to make sure we live in peace, justice, and have strong institutions? That's a challenge. So the engineering profession is well placed. Now, it was predicted even before 2015, when the SDGs were formulated, that conflict will continue to be on the rise because of so many factors. Poverty, corruption, gang violence, poor governance, and what have you. And now in this country we are faced with terrorism, insurgency, banditry, cattle rustling, agitation for separatist movement. All these are forms of insurgency. But as engineers, we are part of the system. We need to impose ourselves and show our influence by knowledge. And that is why I was happy Dr. Bedre was talking about knowledge economy. We have to use the strength of engineering to fight all these malaise. Because the country is unsafe. Every day on the television we hear about some incidents in the northeast, the north central, the northwest, and even down south, that is giving rise to some local police establishments all over the place. So we need to use the strength of engineering, whether it's for combat, border patrol, surveillance, intelligence, reconnaissance. And we have the facilities within the institution itself, or within the Nigerian Society of Engineers, with 25 divisions. I'll give an example. Of course, what I should say, my constituency, the Institution of Space Engineers, they have satellites in space. Surveillance satellite. The Nigeria SAT-2 has been there. But what is it made of? The payload is optics. We need radar, satellites. So through advocacy, the NSC should be able to make sure that, look, these facilities, we have engineers who are trained in this art, let them use it in order to prevent war or conflict. That is one of the advantages. But the targets are mainly on what I've said. They are packaged under those three themes. Peace, how do you attain peace? What makes somebody to be unsafe or insecure in his environment? They have set targets for those ones, with indicators for measuring them. But there are no data. So engineers should be involved in data collection. Even using websites to carry out some survey on those aspects and make them available to government. What is our position in Nigeria itself? Nigeria has done a lot. Nigeria has a national security strategy. All these things that we are talking about all the SDGs were mentioned. There is food security, education security, transport security. They are all covered in the national security strategy, including critical infrastructure protection, which is domiciled in the Office of the National Security Advisor. We have to collaborate with the Presidency, National Security Advisors, Office of the National Security Advisor, and come up with anti-insurgency strategies that are engineering or science-based. We also have to encourage, we have advocacy in e-voting, because if you don't have political security, then that causes violence, as we experienced in the past year in Nigeria. Then a successful or very effective justice system and strong institutions. If we're able to do that, that means that we are moving forward and making contributions to the attainment of the strategic development goals. I want to stop here. During the question and answer sessions, we can take questions. That's what we call short talk.